Welcome back to Star Wars Theories on Crusader Shores, the show where we look into popular theories and what-ifs of Star Wars. In this episode, we're going to be delving into the topic of what if Mace Windu killed Darth Sidious. Amidst the heights of Galactic City on Coruscant, a duel ensued. The product of a failed arrest attempt of Sheev Palpatine, the Dark Lord of the Sith, who had fallen under the Jedi's radar under the guise of the trusting Supreme Chancellor of the Republic, until now. After tempting Anakin Skywalker to his dark teachings and earning his trust, he had exposed himself for who he truly was. As part of his duty, Anakin informed Jedi Master Mace Windu of the Chancellor and his treachery. Sensing a fault in Skywalker's balance, he suggested he await their return in the Council chambers. Gathering the few Jedi he could muster close by, and heavily underestimating the Chancellor's power, not only in the dark side but his manipulation, Mace Windu took off in a clone gunship with the Masters to arrest Chancellor Palpatine, or Darth Sidious, as he was truly known. "I'd feel better if Yoda were here, or even Kenobi. On Ord Kestis, Obi-Wan and I," Kit Fisto said to Master Saesee Tiin. "Yoda is pinned down on Kashyyyk, and Kenobi is out of contact on Utapau. The Dark Lord has revealed himself, and we dare not hesitate. Think not of it, Master Fisto. This duty has fallen to us. We will suffice, we will have to," said Saesee Tiin in response to Fisto. It was clear there was a sense of underlying doubt and unease in what had been laid before them, also not knowing they would enter the room where they would draw their last breaths. As the Jedi entered the quarters of the Chancellor, they were met with heavy resistance. The Chancellor wasn't going to go down without a fight. After putting up a swift end to the three assisting Jedi Masters of Mace Windu, Saesee Tiin, Aegon Kalar, and Kit Fisto, Palpatine erupted into a duel with Windu. As the fight ensued atop the skyscraping Senate building, rays of vast light in the colours purple and red shot in torrents, erupting from the windows and projecting into the sky. At the end of the duel, when the Chancellor was defeated, Anakin ran inside to confront Mace Windu. Palpatine had sensed the conflict in the boy, just as Windu had. Windu had never trusted Anakin, and had sensed his conflict of interest from the beginning. What if, in this moment, Anakin was to choose a different path or to make another choice? What if Mace Windu hadn't been sidetracked and made haste of his decision? First of all, we need to understand the main point of interest that would sway Anakin to the dark side was saving the life of Padme, who he thought would die of childbirth. He had visions of the future. Perhaps the visions were to come true, and what he saw was the result of his sway to the dark side, but he did not know. If Mace Windu killed Palpatine, it is almost a guarantee that Anakin would still have these feelings. He would still be scared of the death of Padme. However, we do not know exactly how these thoughts and dreams manifested. If they were twisted by Palpatine himself to inevitably turn Anakin, perhaps they would stop with his death, as we know Sith do not come back as Force Ghost apparitions. However, it is canon that Sith spirits, as seen with Darth Bane in the Clone Wars, can manifest with certain places such as burial sites or locations of Sith artifacts, allowing them to speak beyond the grave. For the sake of argument, however, we will assume Anakin's visions, which can be seen first in the second prequel film, Attack of the Clones, were not twisted by Palpatine. This means when Palpatine is killed by Windu, Anakin would continue to have these thoughts and fears. However, as quoted in an episode of The Flash by character Harrison Wells, if you deny somebody their true potential, they will search for it elsewhere. This may indicate that perhaps Anakin would be haunted by his interactions with Palpatine, and would try to find a means to unlock the dark side power promised him. He would perhaps search for any Sith artifacts or burial sites to unlock this knowledge. We know Palpatine was the Dark Lord of the Sith, and the rule of two means he was the last after Dooku's death, although a familiar face would still have remained, Darth Maul. Darth Maul was still alive at the time, meaning perhaps Anakin and Maul would have some form of alliance. It was common knowledge as seen in the Clone Wars and Rebels that Maul still searched for an apprentice, and with the death of the Emperor, he would almost definitely rise to the challenge to seize power. I believe if Windu had made a swifter decision and quicker blow to end Sidious, Anakin would have no space to betray him. Although the window had smashed in the Chancellor's quarters, Anakin would not have fully completed his transition to the dark side yet, meaning he would most likely be unable to use Force Lightning to emulate Sidious's power that killed him in the first place. Not to mention, although Anakin has extreme potential, he was not yet as powerful as Windu or some Jedi at the point of Return of the Sith. He would fall in line, however, with his hesitation and conflict in decision making. Windu would realise the true extent of Anakin's conflict and lack of controlling his emotions. With how easily Ahsoka Tano was banished from the Jedi Order initially, before proven innocent, I believe Anakin would be stripped of his Jedi ranking, and banished at least, or perhaps even imprisoned for his hesitation in assisting a superior in defeating a Sith. The majority of people believe Windu would be striking the Chancellor down in hate and anger. However, it is common knowledge Windu was an adept user of Vapad, a form of lightsaber combat that harnessed one's anger in combat. Few Jedi could use this form of fighting without swaying to the dark side, but Windu had mastered such a feat, perhaps contributing to him being one of the best, if not the best, lightsaber duelists in the Jedi Order. He would be able to control his emotions through his fighting style and realise it was a necessary evil to destroy a much greater threat in the Sith that had been under the radar for over 1,000 years without their knowledge. With the return of Master Yoda, Windu would meditate on the events, regaining balance in any emotions or feelings affected by the events that had played out. I believe if Anakin was imprisoned, Padme as a senator would try to fight to get him released. However, their marriage and situation had been hidden from the Jedi, and this would carry the risk of revealing this. If Anakin was banished, Padme would most likely go with Anakin to raise their children, presuming Anakin wouldn't do anything stupid based on his fears of her death. However, if Anakin was imprisoned for his hesitation, Padme's children would still be mothered by her, but most likely inducted into the Jedi Order for their potential in the Force. This would result in Luke becoming a wise Jedi, with Leia most likely unlocking more of her potential that she did in the film narratives. Anakin would serve his sentence in the years to come in the Coruscant prison, realising his wife was fine and the birth of his children had run smoothly, eventually coming to realise how the lack of controlling his emotions and fears had gotten the better of him, and if things had gone another way, he would have aided and abetted a dangerous man, losing much more than he would have gained, including the loss of his wife in the process. He would have a strong sense of regret. However, although he had not gone through with the task in the end, Obi-Wan would also remain a friend and visit him, feeling sympathy for Anakin, knowing he had not fully assisted Palpatine, knowing of Anakin's history of emotional conflict. Chancellor Palpatine would be exposed for his true identity, with the Jedi holding a grand meeting and revealing to the Senate through their allies how the Chancellor had been the manipulator of the whole war, posing as a friend and ally, while still fueling his plot to destroy the Jedi and seize complete dictatorship control of the Republic. Perhaps this would result in the lack of trust of the people to elect another powerful individual, especially granting such individuals supreme emergency powers as they did Palpatine. This would most likely result in complete democracy and control from the full Senate rather than majority power going to an individual such as a Chancellor to safeguard problems in the future. With all known Sith dead, the influence would die for a while, but perhaps re-emerge in the form of Darth Maul. No longer in Sidious's grasp, Maul would pose a threat to the Jedi. However, he would most likely go into hiding for many years, living in the shadows. There was very little motive once Sidious was killed for him to rise up again, once more, as his previous initiative was to defeat Vader and the Emperor with his power. However, he would most likely still rediscover Malachor and the Sith holocron. With the lack of the rebellion in the future and Imperial presence, there would be a lack of individuals venturing to find such objects, as the Sith culture and presence died out in the underworld and known regions. If Anakin had assisted Mace Windu in the first place, he would most likely have been celebrated as a hero in the Jedi Order, being granted the rank of Master. Even Master Windu would honour and congratulate him, placing his trust within him for the first time. That is how I believe the narrative would have gone if Mace Windu had defeated Palpatine once and for all during the duel. Thanks for watching this episode of Star Wars Theories on Crusader Shorts. I'm interested to see how you think the story would have played out if Mace Windu would have defeated Palpatine. Leave your ideas below in the comments and I'll be sure to read them all. Like the video if you enjoyed it and want to see more, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss weekly lore and news. See you next time.